Welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphrys. In the spotlight tonight are Julie Bungay, a history teacher whose specialist subject is the Plantagenet Queens Consort from 1154 to 1485. Tom Niblett, a senior media officer, will be answering questions on Birmingham City FC. Mo Hassan, a data analyst whose subject is the members of the Weasel family. And Phoebe Williams, a medical student whose specialist subject is Eurovision in the 21st century. So, 4 people, each with the same ambition to get through to the next stage, the semi-finals, and then to become Mastermind champion, the greatest honour in the world of quizzing. They're all up against the same challenges: how to keep their nerve when they are faced with the relentless ticking of the clock, the fearsome black chair, and, of course, the spotlight. They get 2 minutes to answer their specialist subject questions, 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. So let's get on with it and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Julie Bungay.
Your occupation?
History teacher.
And your chosen subject?
Plantagenet Queens Consort, 1154 to 1485.
The wives of the English kings from the Plantagenet house. Here we go, 2 minutes starting now. Who was the first Plantagenet Queen of England? She married the future Henry II in 1152 and was previously the consort of Louis VII of France.
Eleanor of Aquitaine.
Correct. And the last Plantagenet Queen of England was the younger daughter of which nobleman who was a powerful figure in the Wars of the Roses?
Warwick the Kingmaker.
Yes. In which building did Elizabeth Woodville seek refuge and give birth to the future Edward V after her husband had fled to the Low Countries?
The Sanctuary of Westminster Abbey.
Correct. Which claimant to the throne was captured and executed by Margaret of Anjou's forces at the Battle of Wakefield in 1460? A paper crown was later placed on his severed head.
Richard, Duke of York.
Yep. In the 1250s, Eleanor of Provence, the consort of Henry III, backed the disastrous scheme to put her second son, Edmund, on the throne of which European kingdom?
Sicily.
Yep. After Eleanor of Aquitaine joined her sons in a rebellion against Henry II in 1173, she was taken captive disguised as a man. Which monastic chronicler told that story?
Gervase of Canterbury.
Yes, in 1326, Isabella of France invaded England with her lover, Roger Mortimer. At Hereford, they presided over the trial and execution of which royal favourite?
Hugh the Dispenser.
Yes, on a pilgrimage to Canterbury in 1321, Isabella of France was refused entry and her party attacked at a castle in Kent. Which castle?
Leeds Castle.
Yes, Isabella, the child bride of Richard II, and her sister Catherine, later the consort of Henry V, were the daughters of which king of France?
Charles IV.
Charles VI. Robert Ealsfield, a chaplain in the household of Philippa of Hainaut, founded the Hall of the Queen's Scholars in her honour in which English university city?
Oxford.
Yes. Early in the 100 Years' War, Philippa of Hainaut appealed for mercy for 6 condemned citizens who had surrendered to Edward III after an 11-month siege of which French port?
Calais.
Correct. Richard II's first queen consort, Anne of Bohemia, died in 1394. Which nobleman is said to have arrived conspicuously late for her funeral and was struck in the face by the king?
Robert de Vere. It
was Richard FitzAlan, Earl of Surrey. No passes, Julie. You've scored 10 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Tom Niblett.
Your occupation?
Senior Media Officer.
And your specialist subject?
The history of Birmingham City Football Club.
Club that has played in the upper tiers of English football for more than a century. Here we go, 2 minutes. Birmingham City Football Club was founded in 1875 by cricketers from Holy Trinity Church in Bawdsley and was originally known by what name?
Small Heath Alliance.
Yes. When David Sullivan bought the club in March 1993, which 23-year-old businesswoman was appointed managing director?
Karen Brady.
Correct. One of the club's mascots is called Beau Brummie. What is the name of the other?
Beau Bell?
No, Bell Brummie. Which former player was Birmingham's manager when the club won promotion to the Premier League in 2002 and again in 2007?
Steve Bruce.
Yes. Before he became Britain's first £1 million player when he was sold to Nottingham Forest, Birmingham's Trevor Francis played on loan for a team in the North American Soccer League in the summer of 1978. Which team?
Tampa Bay Rowdies.
The Detroit Express. Which member of the club's board took over as caretaker manager in September 1977 after Willie Bell had been sacked?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Which member of the club's board took over as caretaker manager in September 1977 after Willie Bell had been sacked?
Pass.
The club's home ground from 1877 to 1906, when they moved to St Andrews, is generally known by what name?
Munt Street.
Yep. Which very experienced manager succeeded Gianfranco Zola at Birmingham in April 2017, but was sacked less than 6 months later?
Harry Redknapp.
Yep. The adoption of Sir Harry Lauder's "Keep Right On to the End of the Road" as the club's anthem is credited to which Scottish winger? He's said to have sung it on the team coach on the way to an FA Cup match in 1956.
Alec Govan.
Correct. Birmingham lost 4-1 on aggregate to Barcelona in the final of the Intercities Fairs Cup in 1960. They reached the final again the following year, but were defeated 4-2 on aggregate by which Italian club?
AS Roma.
Yes. Which goalkeeper is Birmingham's most capped England international? He won 25 caps between 1929 and 36.
Gil Merrick.
Harry Hibbs. And that's your time up. You had one pass. You'll kick yourself for this. That member of the club's board who took over as caretaker manager in 1977 was a bloke called Ramsey, Sir Alf Ramsey.
I've heard of him.
So, just that one pass, Tom, you have scored 7 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Mo Hassan.
Your occupation?
Data analyst.
And your chosen subject?
Members of the Weasel family.
A family of mammals that includes weasels and related carnivores. Here we go, 2 minutes, starting now. What name is given to the den of the Eurasian otter? It's usually constructed in a burrow or hollow tree on a riverbank.
Holt.
Yep. Which member of the weasel family, with the scientific name Mustela putorius, is generally regarded as the direct ancestor of the domestic ferret?
The European polecat.
Yes. The Nilgiri marten is the only species of marten native to southern India. It's mainly endemic to the Nilgiri Hills. In which major mountain range?
Western Ghats.
Yes. Which large land-based mustelid, sometimes known as the glutton, the skunk bear, or the carcajou, has the scientific name Gyulu gyulu?
Wolverine.
Yes. Which Estonian island has hosted a conservation project since 2000 aimed at the restoration of populations of European mink?
Tartu.
Hiiumaa. Which common invertebrate is the main food of the Eurasian badger, particularly in Europe and Japan?
Earthworms.
Yes. Which marine mammal is the heaviest member of the weasel family? It's noted for its habit of sleeping in the water on its back while it's anchored to strands of kelp to help prevent it from drifting.
Sea otter.
Yeah. The North American mustelid, known as the fisher, has evolved a specialized technique for killing a particular animal in which it bites and scratches at its prey's face and causes it to bleed to death. Which animal?
The North American porcupine.
Yes. The distribution of one species of marten with the scientific name Marti zibellina extends from Russia through Kazakhstan and North Korea to the Japanese island of Hokkaido. What species?
Sable.
Yes. What term is used for the phenomenon that allows animals, such as the wolverine, to both mate and bear young at the ideal times, even though the intervening period is longer than the actual gestation period?
Delayed implantation.
Correct. Which type of badger gained its name because its snout is similar to that of an unrelated animal? It has 3 recognized species called the Sumatran, the Northern, and the Greater.
Hog badger.
Correct. What name of French and Spanish origin is given to the African member of the weasel family with distinctive markings that include a cluster of 3 white facial blotches, one on the forehead and one on each temple?
Zorilla.
Zorilla is correct. No passes. You got them all right, Mo. 11 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Phoebe Williams,
Your occupation?
medical student.
And your chosen subject?
Eurovision in the 21st century.
Eurovision Song Contest. Here we go. Which British television presenter was the United Kingdom voting spokesman during the 2019 final? He announced that the UK's 12 points had gone to North Macedonia.
Ryland Clark-Neal.
Yes. What was the slogan of the 2008 contest? It derived from the fact that the host city, Belgrade, is located where the River Danube meets the River Sava.
The confluence of sound.
Correct. What was the nationality of the host of the 2001 show Terry Wogan referred to as The Little Mermaid and Dr. Death?
Danish.
Yep. What was the title of the winning song for Lordi in 2006, which gave Finland their first Eurovision win?
Hard Rock Hallelujah.
Correct. During the voting announcements at the 2014 final, the spokesman for one country produced a razor and said, now it's time to shave, before he awarded 10 points to the bearded Austrian drag artist Conchita Wurst. Which country?
Ooh, Sweden?
Lithuania. Which high-profile musician, who was born in 1989 but died in 2018, collaborated with Björn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson in the creation of the opening musical anthem We Write the Story for the 2013 final held in Malmö?
Avicii.
Yes. Which country was represented by Valentina Monetta for 3 years in a row from 2012 to 2014?
San Marino.
Correct. What is the name of the Copenhagen venue which in 2001 broke the record for the largest live Eurovision audience when around 35,000 spectators watched the final?
Parken.
Yes. Which world-renowned American singer performed during the interval of the final of the 2016 competition in Stockholm?
Justin Timberlake.
Yep. In 2010, one country's act was interrupted by a stage invader who tried to blend in with the performers. The act was allowed to perform again at the end of the competition. Which country did they represent?
Spain.
Yes. According to Graham Norton, the performance by one country's act at the 2018 competition was like some children's television presenters got a bit overexcited at their Christmas party. Which country?
Moldova.
Yes. Which act, I've started, so I'll finish. Which act represented Ireland in 2012 with the song Waterline and finished 19th? It was their second consecutive performance in a final.
Jedward.
Jedward is correct. No passes, Phoebe. You have 11 points. So that's the end of the first round. Some pretty close scoring there. Let's have a look at all of the scores. In fourth place with 7 points, Tom. Third place, 10 points, Julie. Joint first place, 11 points apiece, Mo and Phoebe. So it's the general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, then there has to be a tie break. So let's ask Tom to join us again, please. And you start out with 7 points, loads of time to catch up because you get 2.5 minutes for general knowledge. Starting now, what paper size covers half the area of A3 paper?
A4.
Yeah. Which Italian-American jazz and swing musician provided the voice of the orangutan King Louis in the 1967 film The Jungle Book? He memorably sang the song, I Want to Be Like You.
Pass.
In the summer of 2018, Marks & Spencer reported a spike in sales of a particular item of clothing which they attributed to the so-called Gareth Southgate effect. What item?
Waistcoat.
Yeah. In musical scores, which clef is conventionally used to notate music for high-pitched instruments and for the right hand on keyboard instruments? It's sometimes called the G clef.
Pass.
What once common alternative name for the disease tetanus comes from the fact that the muscle spasms associated with it often cause the mouth to be tightly closed?
Pass.
The 1974 novel The Killer Angels by Michael Shara is an account of a 3-day battle fought in Pennsylvania in July 1863. What battle?
Gettysburg.
Yes. What term for a relationship breakup was coined by the lifestyle coach Catherine Woodward Thomas? It was later memorably used by the actress Gwyneth Paltrow when she separated from Chris Martin.
Decoupling?
Conscious uncoupling. Which American e-commerce billionaire took over the Washington Post newspaper in 2013?
Jeff Bezos?
Yes. In the 1990s, Andrew Wiles published the first complete proof of a statement usually referred to as the last theorem of the French mathematician who proposed it more than 300 years earlier. Which mathematician?
Pass.
What name, taken from the title of their religious text, is often given to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What name, taken from the title of their religious text, is often given to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
I don't know. Pass, sorry.
Which choreographer staged the musical numbers for the 1933 film version of 42nd Street?
Pass.
Which rugby union team won all 5 of their matches to become the 2019 Six Nations champions?
Wales.
Yes. What is the real name of the rapper known as Childish Gambino? As an actor, he played Troy Barnes in the American sitcom Community and has appeared in the films The Martian and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Dr. Dre.
Donald Glover. Tahini is a paste made from the crushed seeds of what plant?
Sesame.
Is correct. You have 6 passes, Tom. Busby Berkeley was the choreographer for 42nd Street, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormons. You knew it, didn't you? That famous mathematician was Fermat, Fermat's last theorem and all that. Lockjaw is what you sometimes get with tetanus. Treble clef is the one used to notate music. And Louis Prima was the Italian-American jazz and swing musician. You have now, Tom, a total of 13 points.
Thank you.
And now Julie again, please. And you start out, Julie, with 10 points. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Here we go. What word for any number from 0 to 9 is also a term for one of a person's fingers or toes?
Digit.
Yep. Which American former First Lady wrote the 2018 memoir Becoming?
Michelle Obama.
Correct. The board used in the game Chinese checkers conventionally has the shape of a star with how many points?
8.
6. The EastEnders character, first played by Joe Warne in 1991 and then by Barbara Windsor from 1994, had the married names Mitchell and Butcher. What was her first name?
Peggy.
Yes. Which American boxer became the youngest world heavyweight champion at the time when he beat Archie Moore in 1956? 4 years later, he became the first fighter to win the title twice when he regained it from Ingemar Johansson.
Louis Brown.
Floyd Patterson. What mansion near Stoke-on-Trent was once the home of the Earls of Shrewsbury? It's best known today for its grounds, which were developed into a successful theme park during the 80s.
Alton.
Yes,
Towers?
Alton Towers. Which American architect designed the Guggenheim Museum in New York? He was born in Wisconsin in 1867.
Jackson Pollock.
Frank Lloyd Wright. The phenomenon in astronomy called CME is a release of large amounts of matter and radiation from the sun. What do the letters CME stand for?
Crystal particle.
No, coronal mass ejection. Which 1968 film stars Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder and was the directorial debut of Mel Brooks?
The Producers.
Correct. Which is the largest species of wasp native to Britain? Proverbially, stirring up its nest means to create an unpleasant situation.
Hornet.
Yep. What name is given in mathematics to the product of a given positive integer and all positive integers below it? It's usually denoted by an exclamation mark.
Factorial.
Yes. Which scavenging dog-like mammal native to Africa and Asia has species known as the spotted, the striped and the brown?
Jackal.
Hyena. The comedy opera Thespis, or The Gods Grown Old, was premiered in London in 1871. Although almost all the music for it's been lost, the work is significant because it was the first collaboration of which famous writing partnership?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Correct. What is the medical name for the small piece of flesh that dangles at the back of the soft palate in the mouth?
Uvula.
Yes. Which artist of the Baroque period depicted his second wife, Hélène Faumont, in many of his later works? He painted her as Venus in a version of The Judgment of Paris.
Raphael.
Rubens, who won his third Best Actor Oscar in 2013 for playing the title role in the film Lincoln.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, you got there just in time. You had no passes, Julie. You now have a total of 20 points.
Thank you.
And now, Mo again, please. And you start out with 11 points, Mo. 20 is the score to beat as we speak. Here we go. What name is given to the paste made from sugar and crushed almonds used to top cakes or to form a layer below the icing on a Christmas cake?
Marzipan.
Yes. What type of geographical feature are the Icelandic tourist attractions Dettifoss and Gullfoss?
Giza.
Waterfalls. What unit of electric potential or electromotive force was named after an Italian physicist and is used to measure systems such as the domestic mains?
Volt.
Yes. Which piece of apparatus used in men's gymnastics must measure 160 centimetres long and have its upper surface 115 centimetres from the floor? Part of its name comes from the two arched handles attached to the top of the apparatus.
Pommel horse.
Yes. The satirical Irish writer Brian O'Nolan wrote the novels At Swim Two Birds and The Third Policeman under his better-known pen name. What name?
Pass.
Which British bird has a call said to sound like a little bit of bread with no cheese?
Yellowhammer.
Yes. What duet between David Bowie and Mick Jagger topped the UK singles chart in 1985? It was released to raise funds for the Live Aid famine relief cause.
Dancing in the streets.
Yes, the area of moorland in Cornwall that includes the granite peaks of Brown Willie and Rough Tor is named after which nearby town?
Dartmoor.
Bodmin. What common name for numerous species of non-venomous snake is also a term for a long, decorative neck scarf made of fur or feathers?
Boa.
Yes. In 2014, Anne Hidalgo was elected as the first female mayor of which European capital city?
Berlin.
Paris. Which sculptor, a previous winner of the Turner Prize, designed the ArcelorMittal orbit for London's Olympic Park? The installation features a giant slide created by the German artist Carsten Höhler.
Pass.
What branch of the British Secret Service was created in 1939 chiefly to assist in the escape of Allied prisoners of war?
MI5.
MI9. What pejorative expression for excessive bureaucracy comes from the coloured binding material that was used to type together official documents?
Red tape.
Yes. Which letter of the alphabet is represented as a single dot in Morse code?
A.
E. In what 1951 Alfred Hitchcock film do two men meet by chance and discuss committing murders for each other?
Pass.
Cirrhosis is a medical condition caused by long-term tissue damage. It most commonly occurs in which organ of the human body?
Liver.
Liver is correct. You had 3 passes, Mo. That Hitchcock film was Strangers on a Train. The sculptor who designed the ArcelorMittal orbit was Anish Kapoor. And the satirical Irish writer Brian O'Nolan, otherwise known as Flann O'Brien. You have now, Mo, a total of 19 points. And finally, Phoebe again, please. And Phoebe, you start out with 11 points, and the score to beat is still 20 if you are to get through to the semi-finals. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge. Here we go. A horse called Lottery, ridden by Jem Mason, won a steeplechase in 1839 that's generally regarded as the first running of which famous horse race?
Kentucky Derby?
The Grand National. In the traditional nursery rhyme, the sparrow killed Cock Robin with what weapon?
Pass.
What Hebrew name meaning dedication is given to the 8-day Jewish winter festival that begins on the 25th day of the month of Kislev?
Passover?
Hanukkah. Who became the first female Speaker of America's House of Representatives in 2007, a post she held until 2011 and returned to in 2019?
Betsy DeVos?
Nancy Pelosi. Hematite is the most abundant ore of which metal?
Iron.
Yes. Which American artist born in 1785 in present-day Haiti produced Birds of America, a collection of 435 coloured illustrations?
Pass.
What is the title of the debut novel by Robert Harris, published in 1992 and set in an alternative world in which Germany has won the Second World War?
Pass.
The Colorado beetle is a serious agricultural pest that feeds predominantly on the leaves of what important food plant?
Corn?
Potato. Fallout, Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol are subtitles of 3 installments in a spy film franchise that's based on a television series of the same name. What's it called?
Mission Impossible.
Yes. If music be the food of love, play on. That's the opening line of the Shakespeare play Twelfth Night. What's the name of the character who says it?
Sebastian.
Orsino. The Stoic philosopher Seneca was a tutor and advisor of which Roman emperor?
Caesar.
Nero. What satirical television comedy series, first broadcast in 1984, was created by the caricaturist Peter Fluck and Roger Law?
Spitting Image.
Yep. The singer Yusuf Islam, who collaborated with Ronan Keating on the UK hit single Father and Son in 2004, had his first UK top 10 single in 1967 with Matthew and Son. Under what stage name?
Cat Stevens.
Correct. What name of French origin is given to a yellow discoloration of the skin and the whites of the eyes? It's sometimes known as icterus and is caused by an excess of bile pigment in the bloodstream.
Jaundice.
Correct. Which city and inland port is the capital of the Andalusia region of southern Spain?
Catalonia.
Seville. What fast-paced dance is named after the American harbor city in South Carolina, where it evolved in the 1920s?
Charleston.
Yes, Charleston is correct. And you had 3 passes. Fatherland is the name of that Robert Harris novel. John James Audubon was the artist who produced wonderful paintings of birds, and the sparrow killed Cock Robin with my bow and arrow. Yeah, you thought of it afterwards, didn't you?
It's in there somewhere.
I'm afraid that's the way it is. Anyway, you did very well, Phoebe. You have 17 points. So, let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 13 points, Tom. 3rd place with 17 points, Phoebe. 2nd place with 19 points, Mo. In 1st place, she squeaked it with 20 points, Julie. Which means, of course, that Julie goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. And if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Some of my pupils very mischievously during a lesson said, "Oh, Miss, you should apply for Mastermind." And they said they were going to type the application up there, and then that sort of gave me the idea. My pupils, I think, would be really happy, and they've been so supportive. You know, when I told my Year 7s yesterday, they were really excited.
Julie, you now have a total of 20 points.
If I were to win Mastermind, I'd like to think that is a tribute to all my students who revise so hard for their exams. And I think for them to see, you know, a teacher also revising hard and to some extent going through the same struggle they are, I think that's what really inspires me to keep going, is to, you know, show them that all the hard work and revision will pay off one day.